Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 799 of the series. The final episode in the 700s. It's been 47 years. It feels like it though, doesn't it? But let's get out of the last episode's hidey hole, grab Wolfie, and continue in a direction that I believe is west, yes? To those far lands, here in Minecraft Beta 173. That's a boat. Minecraft Beta 173. Like I said, for episode 799, coming out on YouTube and podcast on Sunday, September 13th, 2020, being recorded the day before, live on Twitch. A big bump in donations. In no small part thanks to Doc Gratis with a very generous donation to Equal Justice Initiative. We're up to $370.69 raised. farlandsorbust.com is where you can find those links to the Tiltify campaign. And I appreciate your continued support and your questions when you do donate, so that I might have things to talk about during the journey. Things to talk about indeed. I suppose I can get a little bit of wood. As long as there aren't creepers hiding around here. Ah! There's a wolfie pushing me around. Push me around, rude dude. And also some sheep. Oh, too much wood. Wolfie, cease. Oh, that is not my shears. That is my shears. Indeed. Indeed. We've got a Juno in the house. I mean, y'all can't see her right now, but trying out letting Juno up here while I'm working, so she ain't so lonely in the basement. There's a door that separates the two halves of the house, so the cats are secure on the other side of the house, like the kitchen, living room, dining room. So I brought Juno up here. A real bugaboo. A real bugaboo. A real bugaboo she is. Very... You thought the cat cam was difficult. The Juno cam is very difficult to acquire. On account that right when I get it set up right, she moves. Indeed. Indeed. I hope where you're at, it is not as smoky and unhealthy in the air as it is here. Very smoky. Very, very smoky. All day it's been smoky. It's apparently also been cloudy, but I wouldn't be able to tell because the smoke is too thick. I think the cloud layer probably then prevents the smoke. It blankets it in. It hasn't been windy at all, so it's just stagnant. A real bummer. A real bummer for the planet and everything. And honestly, a little bit of a bummer. Like now living in Seattle, it's kind of, we are going to this weekend take time to like make our emergency kit of emergency stuff, mostly for the pets. Pets are the ones who tend to get left behind, and we will not do such things just to get all papers, food, supplies, like in a Tupperware bin to just throw it in the car and Shazam. That's what cars do. They're magic. Well, that's something I've never had to think about. I mean, like living in the Midwest, the weather threat was tornadoes, and those are kind of like, well, just get yourself safe because there's no warning. There's no, you can't run away from it or anything like that. You can't tornado proof your house. So just hope that you're not in the way. Arizona, it was just don't be outside when it's so hot you can die. Is pretty much Arizona from what I recall. And flooding because when it would rain a lot, the desert does not accept moisture as normal soil do. So yeah, flooding was also a pretty significant issue in Arizona. Here, it's flooding, it's earthquakes, it's a volcano, and in the last 5 years or so, wildfires and dangerous for your lungs air outside. Did I pick the right place? What do I win? You win tar-filled lungs. Hooray! So yeah, hope everybody's doing all right in that regard. And we'll hopefully get through it together. Climate change. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. That's all that's new. I wanted to go on like a drive in the Corolla this morning, but no, that's not necessary. Like I'm like getting not messages, but like seeing like a bunch of like shops and stuff that are like closing due to the air quality and stuff. It's not great. Oh, I accidentally hit F. I hit F, and now it's... Oh, God. Oh, it's made it into Minecraft. Oh, dear. Actually, that's not too far off. This right here, not too far off. Not too far off as to what I can see outside. Just not orange enough. It's not orange enough. Otherwise, this would be very, very true. There we go. Much better. Well, that was accidentally appropriate, wasn't it? Let us continue on. Ooh, watch where we're going as well. Ryan gave a donation to Equal Justice Initiative and asked, "How are you, Kurt?" Not you, me. He didn't ask you, he asked me. I am fine, other than those few things I mentioned earlier. Yeah, there's not much else happening. I mean, a little, I don't know, I guess I don't really get too stir crazy, but I could get stir crazy. There's just not a lot to do. We wanted to do a hike this weekend, and that, unless things blow out of here on Monday, is looking unlikely. Yeah, I'm doing okay. What else is up? Not too much. Not too much at all. It's really, as I assume for everyone, just kind of been the samey. We've all pretty much have been stagnant for this past year. Thanks in no small part to the bumbling greedy idiots at the top, but that's not in the Farlands or Bust world now, is it? But yeah, doing all right. Thank you very much for asking, Ryan. Doing all right. I don't mention this too often because I focus on the charity, but I did, on my Patreon page, enable yearly patronage. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I think about 18 people signed up for yearly which just you pay 12 months worth at up front basically, and you're set. And last month when I announced it, I made it so then you only pay 10 months, but you get 12 months. But I've recently, now it's gone back to 11 months, and you get 12 months. And that was very good. I mean, obviously, then I get paid that, so that helps a lot because taxes are due in like 4 days. Which is all this this new income. Nope, don't get to keep it. But no, that was very thankful to the people who signed up for that. I do appreciate it. We've also moved the Patreon Minecraft server. You have a Minecraft server, Kurt? I know. I barely remember myself. Whoop. But yeah, we moved different hosts because the host is not the host with the most that we had. I'm pretty sure they're not even in business anymore. Nobody replies to my tickets or emails. I think I was just paying some like random empty shell of a company that just happened to have left our server up. So we switched that. So if you were a patron on the Minecraft server, that address has changed. But let's go to sleep. And awakeness. Don't gotta worry about servers here. This is a single player world. Okay. Ooh, tempting. Ah! Okay. No? No? You don't want me to do that? Ha! Woo! 360. No splash. Oh, we missed. Wolfie did it too. I was a little bit afraid he was gonna just land on that single block. Uncle Scientist had a question with their donation. And they asked, are there any foods you hated as a kid but like now? Also, are there foods you avoid and dislike now that you liked as a kid? I think it's mostly that. Obviously, let's take the gluten thing out of the equation because that's not that I don't like those things. It's that my body don't like those things. But yeah, I feel like I was more... I had a lot of weird tastes as a kid. Sardines. I liked sardines as a kid. I think I was just kind of like, neat, it's like a whole fish without a head. And I also thought, like, peeling open the can was neat. But I also liked eating just straight up sardines on a Ritz cracker. That was a treat for young Kurt J. Mac. No, not sardines. Yes, sardines. Okay, yeah. I was confusing them with anchovies. Because I'm like, no, I don't like anchovies. But sardines. Yes. I also... What else did I like? There was something else that I had in my mind that I've now forgotten. A lot of weird stuff. Pumpernickel bread? That was more like, I think my grandma and my parents or whatever kind of like were the ones who would bring that home. But I liked it. Put some cream cheese on a little tiny slice of pumpernickel bread. That's good old people eating. Pumpernickel bread. What else? I think the sardines is the weirdest thing for a kid to like, probably. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think the reverse too, like something I hated as a kid. Broccoli. I like broccoli. Probably, I mean, it's one of those things where like I'm pretty sure my parents were overcooking the broccoli they were feeding us, so it was just a green, disgusting mush. Whereas now I know you kind of slightly undercook it. You get some of that crunch. You get that broccoli crunch. Put some cheese on it. Put it in some stir fry. Broccoli can be good. It can be very good. Cheese. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't eat fish anymore. Like I used to like shrimp. whether it be cooked shrimp or the cold, like, cocktail shrimp. I used to like shrimps. I mean, I suppose I still do, but I don't, like, seek them out. They're too difficult. They're too difficult. Well, it's not raw broccoli. Kaylee says she doesn't like raw broccoli. Well, I don't like raw broccoli either, but it's still cooked. It's just like the stem is still a little stiff. Al dente. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't like sodas and things I don't eat anymore. Solid sodas. I'll have a slice of soda, please. You know, like any sort of soft drink, beverage I don't drink anymore. I'm off that bandwagon. I've escaped that cult. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like, I can't think of anything else specific. Like, there's stuff I wish I could, I can eat. Like, I liked meatloaf a lot as a kid, which, again, I think might be kind of weird for a kid. But it's difficult to make. Or I just haven't gotten around to, like, trying making it. Because it usually takes breadcrumbs, so I'd have to use gluten-free breadcrumbs and make sure all the other ingredients are gluten-free. But I like the meatloaf. I would still like a meatloaf. I like a meatloaf. A loaf of meat, please. Whoa. So yeah, I think that answers that. Brandon Orama asks, do you play Warzone? I tried, and I stopped after like 20 minutes. Mostly because it was unstreamable for me. It was completely and utterly unstreamable, even in its lowest settings. The game was running fine, but the stream wasn't. It was too much to encode, because I have just one computer that I both stream and game on. It was just overloading the CPU. Which, again, for a game like that, why the CPU? You buy all these fancy GeForce whatever doohickeys and drivers and throttles and whatever. I don't know why I said the word throttles, but and then it's the CPU that can't keep up. And no, it was like Rocket League, which I like, but for guns. It was too much action packed, that sort of thing, and I hate it. But I tried it very briefly. No, I don't like what Call of Duty has become, just in general. I played Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2. I did play Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare when it first came out, and that's when I kind of was like, nah, not as good as the World War II ones. It's just not as good. So yeah, I do not play. But thank you for the donation and the question. And Doc Radis, I once heard of a YouTuber. What's a YouTuber? Who started his channel to work on his public speaking. Kurt Secrets. Not really public speaking. Let me correct you there, Doc. let me mansplain you the actual lore. I just wanted to practice speaking, because like in groups or even with people, I don't talk. I don't I'm not a good conversationalist, or I specifically wasn't a very good conversationalist. So just to be like comfortable with my own voice. Public speaking, no. I have no desire to like publicly speak, get up in front of a group of people or a whatever, even though I have, you know, as if you've ever seen me on a convention panel, my public speaking, careful Wolfie, my public speaking has improved none. But anyway, I'll continue. Are there any skills you want to learn or improve? Any interest? Oh, that's a totally different question. Any interest in watching For All Mankind? I had to look it up. It seems interesting, but it seems like it's also only on Apple Video. Whatever that is. I didn't even know that existed. So I won't be having that. Thank you very much. Oh, careful, Wolfie. Get him to spawn. Spawn, Wolfie. There he is. So yeah, I don't know much about the show, but it seems like an interesting premise, albeit a ow. That was not Wolfie's fault. That was the real dog's fault. That was Juno's fault. Juno like got up and is like now paying attention to something, and now she's gone down the hall. Careful, Wolfie. So let's make the elevated hidey hole. Fall off the elevated hidey hole. I'm all out of sorts. Even though there's a door between Juno and the cats, it's still like, you know, like they're still like, but let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. No, that's not the end of the episode, Juno. She remembers. She remembers. She knows when I end streams, though. Well, guess I gotta eat these cookies. That's how you eat cookies. Continuing on. Doc's first question was, are there any skills you want to learn or improve? I mean, kind of. Maybe a bone for the dog, too. It's not looking too bad, actually. Although I should pick up some pigs the next time I see him. I mean, the girlfriend wants to teach me how to longboard, skateboard. I stood on hers once, and it's very scary. That would be, I mean, other means of leisure, I suppose, and outdoors enjoyment. Kayaking would be fun, but kayaks are expensive. They're very expensive. I mean, so are cars, but that seems like an interesting... It seems like hiking, but on the water. That would be interesting to learn and then, like, do as a thing. Renting them is fun. Yeah, I gotta find somewhere that... Well, I suppose renting equipment isn't really a thing that's happening and or allowed in these current times. Sharing with strangers. God dang it, Wolfie. So yeah, I'd like that would be interesting. The girlfriend kind of is more looking at like paddle boards, stand-up boards. That would be interesting too, I suppose. But I'm very wobbly. I tried just sitting and paddling on a stand-up board, and I'm very wobbly. I'm a very long, and I have a high center of gravity. I suppose I would like to learn more car-related skills, just so I can work on my cars without having to, like, consult books and the internet. I mean, like, welding is certainly one of those skills. Like, there's a lot of, like, cool and cheap cars, but, well, they got rust holes in the floor pans and stuff, and it's like, oh, well, I really can't do anything with that. So, next, welding would be an interesting skill to have. Are there any skills that the chat thinks I should have? I mean, even, I guess, more lightly to the degree of, like, camping. I've never been camping. The girlfriend wants to try camping. And I suppose that's something that's learned with practice and skills. Baking. We enjoy baking and cooking. And again, I think we have some pretty decent skills. I mean, it's not all inherent knowledge, so, like, we have to follow instructions and stuff. But I think our baking and cooking has turned out well. That's also like a... That's also much like the welding or even kayaking. That's sometimes a lack of kitchen and a lack of equipment scenario. Sometimes. Like, oh, you need this fancy thing to make this fancy dish. And it's like, well, I don't have a fancy food processor, or I don't have this sort of special pressure cooker, or whatever they require. Too bad for me. So yeah, I already know how to drive a manual transmission, so that probably was. I know I've been asked this question before, but I'm pretty sure, definitely in the past, I've said to drive a manual. Gotta learn a 3 on a tree. Honestly, Powers got me looking at rallycross stuff, which is autocross, but on, like, fields and dirt and stuff like that. And there's, like, an event, allegedly, happening next month. That would be interesting to get into. Like, I could use my Crosstrek. But then again, it also feels like it would be better to have, like, a car you don't care so much about, that isn't your daily driver, to go into that. So I don't know, I might go and, like, just spectate, if it is even happening, the event next month in the area. Or maybe I'll enter. But again, I'm thinking it's required to have a helmet, and they'll usually have helmets to rent, or, like, to use there. But I don't feel like that's going to be a thing in the current viral situation we're in. Ooh, look at that, we need a little waterfall. It's eroding through the mountain there. Eroding! Have you had any fast RC cars before? No, I've had, like, the Toys R Us ones as a kid. Those are expensive too. I looked at it because we were walking once and somebody had one in a field, and Juno, like, wanted to chase it, and we're like, ooh, since Juno doesn't play fetch or anything that would get her to, like, actually exercise and run, we get an RC car and have her chase that. And then, like, I looked at the prices of, like, the, like, good ones, and it's like, haha, maybe not. Maybe I'll look into kayaking instead, as it is cheaper. I mean, I suppose I could just get a cheapo one. But, like, I remember the Toys R Us ones. It's like, oh, you charge the battery overnight, and then you get, like, 12 minutes of playtime before the battery's dead. Yeah! Quality entertainment. Quality entertainment. But yeah, I mean, even as a kid, I liked planes a lot. I wanted to get into, like, RC planes. But, like, that's a whole other problem with, like, airspace and regulations and stuff. And there were, like, specific RC fields, airport situations. No, yeah, RC cars. That would be interesting. I was hiking somewhere with the girlfriend, and two guys were on the hiking path, but with the really slow, like, Ford Bronco, like, 4x4 remote control cars, like, very slow, like, rock crawler RC cars. And I'm like, that's neat, but also, look at those nerds. It was just weird because it was on a hiking trail where, like, people like us were hiking. Oh, buddy. Hey, listen, I put myself in that same category, so don't think it's a negative word. So yeah, I don't know. You'll have to let me know what sort of things I can get up into. I could volunteer for the forestry firefighting service, I suppose. There's no lack of skills to learn there. Sorry, I didn't mean to, like... And now everybody's sad again. Enjoy this episode of Farlands or Bust. Ah, beans. Ah, beans. Well, hopefully I can make it to this next plot of land before the sun sets. But yeah, farlandsorbust.com. Those are the questions we had today. Donate to Equal Justice Initiative, human rights organization, ending mass incarceration, excessive punishment, challenging racial and economic injustices, and protecting basic human rights. Here in the United States, farlandsorbust.com is where you can donate through the Tiltify campaign. I've also got a fancy new stream alert for it, although the video, like, freezes halfway through, so that's annoying and unfortunate. I would like to learn how to be a streamer, please. That's the skill. That's the skill. I mean, honestly, it would save me a lot of time and trouble if I could learn how to make my own emotes. Learn an art. Then again, that kind of feels bad, because then it feels like I'm just taking away work from actual artists who are much better at such things as these. Wah! So dark. And it's bright. Alright, let's, Wolfie's already sitting. Let's give ourselves a porch light. Let's get rid of some of this gravel and junk I've picked up. Heading to the end of the episode. Hidey hole. I've already reminded you about the charity fundraiser. I've already reminded you about Patreon and the server stuff going on, as well as the new annual memberships. Y'all know I'm streaming this on Twitch. It's September. There's percentages off certain subscriptions. If you've only ever been subscribed with, like, Twitch Prime and stuff, and they have multi-month subscriptions now. It's a multi-month type of month. Hello? There it is. I wanna aha! I'm like Daredevil, I can see in the dark. Well, actually, he's blind, so it's always dark. You know what I mean. Indeed. farlandsorbust.com. That's where all that stuff happens and links to. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, episode 799. I'll see you in episode 800, or perhaps before, on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Quality entertainment.